one note from the study that I found really interesting, the best thing you can reuse that they looked at was a reusable fork.
Like silverware?
Yes.
Hello, Tiffany.
Hello, cat.
How's it going?
Oh, fine.
Says with caveats.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just the last, like, well, I was late to recording because my child was having an absolute conniption fit.
You know,
like,
that's
just
okay.
losing her shit, which happens, and it is what it is. But yeah, I'm just having, like, one of those couple of weeks where I feel like I'm always late. Like,
Yeah.
feels like so much of my time I'm running late to something. I think that may be just the human condition.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I was like, I would say, have you consulted your astrology charts? But whatever. I don't know. I want to blame it on the summer heat. Like, I know I've got seasonal depression right now because like you can't go outside. It's 107 degrees here.
Yes.
So we're like stuck indoors and what, are you going to go see another movie? Yeah, sure. No, it just, nothing feels like I don't want to do anything. I feel
No,
like I
I
take
get it.
anytime I have a break, I go and lie down,
Right?
which
I
is like
have heard
what you
that
do in the winter. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's what I was gonna say. Everybody always thinks of SAD,
Yeah.
seasonal affective disorder, whatever it's called, in the winter, but it's totally a summer thing too.
Yeah.
And
The
we have
dead
had
heat.
several bouts of fire,
Yeah.
like smoke from.
You can't go outside.
Yeah. So it's like this time wasn't so bad, but it's just like, Jesus Christ, when is
Yeah.
this gonna end?
Like if I don't get a walk in before the sun is up, basically,
Right.
I'm just toast, literally toast. So yeah, my poor dog, we go for a walk in the morning, and then if it gets below 90 by 9 p.m., I'll take him for a walk.
Oh
But
my God.
it's 90 degrees at night. I'm like, dog, sorry, and we'll go sit on the back patio and we'll both sit there for about 2 minutes. And then he's like, well, that was fun. Time to go inside.
Right?
It's too hot.
Yeah.
Not even
I
in the sun,
know.
just in the shade. Yeah. So
Wow. Yeah,
I
because I mean, it's hot here, like
yeah
90, low 90s, but not hundreds. So
yeah lucky. I mean,
lucky.
that's still hot though. I know when I used to live out there in DC, in Maryland, that's hot. It's a swamp.
Yeah, it's very humid. It's like
Yeah.
80% humidity or
Yeah.
something.
So you're just gross, and the sweat doesn't evaporate, so you don't cool off. You're just
Right.
muggy and
Yeah,
awful.
and you just
Yeah.
like you actually just sit and sweat. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to be active. You just sweat.
Yeah. Just sitting outside the backs of your knees. Like
Ugh.
there's going to be a stain on your seat when you stand up.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't
But
know if it's like being a parent where you're just trying to get things moving and the kid is dragging their feet. I mean, that's
yeah.
a big part of it, but it's just like everything I do, I'm like, oh, I'm late to something. Oh, I'm late to something. I must be overbooking myself too. That might be.
Yeah, maybe just quit some stuff.
I know.
Don't though, because I need you on this podcast.
Well, no, this would definitely be
everything but the
last.
podcast. Quit everything else.
This would be last on the list of quitting for sure. But
No.
yeah, I'm like, I don't even feel like I have a life. How am I always late to stuff?
I know. I wonder about that. Well, I hate to be that childless person, but kids are only little once, so
yeah,
she'll
they
grow
say
out of
that.
this too. Next summer, you'll be like, we were late to stuff. What
Right.
was that?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I hear 3 is better, so that's only 6 months away, so I should just shut my trap. Anyway. Today's episode,
let's get into that maybe.
we're talking about reusable stuff.
Yeah.
And I wanted to combine all this stuff because it's like I didn't necessarily think each one deserved its own full episode.
Right.
But, this season we're talking about waste, and it's often at least marketed as a solution to waste is reusable stuff. Like the 3 I looked at were stasher bags, so reusable Ziplocs, beeswax wrap that is meant to replace saran wrap or plastic wrap, and reusable straws.
Right. And these are all big big plastic items that we just kind of throw away.
Yes. And as
Yeah.
we know from our plastics recycling episode, I don't know if I mentioned this, you can't recycle plastic straws
No,
anywhere
or
as
Saran
far as
wrap.
I know.
I
Or
well,
saran
maybe
wrap.
yeah. General, you maybe I think Ridwell might take it, but generally no. And plastic baggies too are difficult to recycle.
Yeah, I kind of doubt you can, to be honest.
I think Ridwell does collect them,
Yeah, and
but they're hard to reuse.
right, but the other thing is, even if you recycle it, it's gonna get recycled 1 to 3 times.
Yeah.
So, it's like, is there a point to it?
Yeah.
Not no, I don't know. I don't
Hmm.
know. Yeah, I wanted to look at these 3 items to see, like, are they actually helping?
Right.
Or is it green hooey?
Yay! Our favorite term. What does green hooey mean?
Yeah, green hooey is like green what people call greenwashed marketing. So, companies that use it's our term for it, right?
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
but it's companies use sort of green labels, green words like eco-friendly, sustainable,
Biodegradable.
biodegradable, all of these things, and nobody's really regulating it. So they can just throw all these leaves and whatnot on their packaging, and they look really good.
Hmm.
But a lot of times we have found that they're not actually eco-friendly at all,
Right.
and they sometimes are worse.
Yeah. And then they cost more too.
Yes, and one thing that I found before I get into my sources, yeah, they do cost so much more. That's the nutso thing. We're gonna talk about that a little bit here. But one thing I found was a 2021 study in the International Journal of Life Cycle Assessment, which is a
Hmm.
big one that I'm sourcing in this episode. It shows that, quote, reusable products are not necessarily always more green, since their impact depends on how they are used.
Okay.
So I'll leave you with that.
Hmm.
My sources, I only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ish. So Anthropocene, they talked about reusable stuff in general, talked about
Hmm.
straws and sandwich wrap and all that. They quoted that study that I mentioned. The study, again, International Journal of Life Cycle Assessment, was a huge part of it. A Vox article about zero waste products like straws or baggies or whatever. Stanford had a plastic straw article about whether or not they actually make a difference. And then I used Stasher Bags, which is a brand,
Hmm.
Stasher Bags website.
Okay.
So, from Anthropocene, this is from that article. One of the leaders of that study was quoted in that article, and her name was Shelley Miller, and she's from the University of Michigan School for Environment and Sustainability. And she says, quote, in reality, reusables are generally better than single-use products,
Hooray.
but
Uh-oh. The caveat. Here comes the but.
but they actually must be reused and
Okay.
often
Well, duh. Okay.
yeah, and often reused a large number of times to realize
Okay.
their environmental benefit.
I think we've talked about this anytime we've talked about like you need to reuse a jar 4,000 times or whatever to make up
Yes.
for its carbon footprint
Yeah,
in its creation or
and that
recycling
was one
even.
reason I really wanted to talk about this because in the plastics episode we talked I touched on it because I found a source on somebody saying, "Oh, you need to use a bag like 4,000
Yes,
times."
the tote bags, that's what it was. Yes.
Yeah,
50 it was 52 times for a paper bag, I think.
right.
Yes.
And they were looking at that was a different study actually, but they were looking at like 52 times for different factors because
Right.
there's a lot that goes into sustainability. It's not just one thing.
Right.
So it's like 52 times to make it better than plastic in terms of greenhouse gases, but you need to use it 4,000 times in terms of all of the above. So,
Right. In terms of like decomposition time or what kind of impact it can have on waterways or things like yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, water use. Yes, exactly. So I was feeling really disheartened about that, and I was
Mhm.
like, "What the f?" Like, we
Yeah.
have been so lied to if that's the case.
Right.
And so that was a big reason why I wanted to look into these because I was like, "So hold on. Does that mean that this is not even worth it? Like I should just keep reusing or keep using Ziplocs and not bother?
Right.
Um,
Oh,
so
ee.
we're gonna find we're gonna
That
find
feels
out.
dirty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna find out.
Okay.
Another thing that Shelley Miller says is that reusable items are more durable than single-use items, obviously, but
Hmm.
so that's good in theory, right? But it also means that reusables consume more material and energy to make.
Yes, that makes sense.
Right. So your tote bag versus your plastic bag from your grocery store, very different in terms of what the input needed.
I would even say, so Austin recently, well, they went back and forth on a law about plastic bags that for a while it was you couldn't have plastic bags, like they wouldn't have them at the grocery store.
Mhm.
And then the state overruled that law. And so what they did was they made the law that the plastic bag that you get at the grocery store has to be reusable. So
Oh,
it's thicker plastic bags, right? Which means, again, I think that's an issue, is that they use
right.
more plastic, they use more energy to be made. And if people are
Yes.
just using them the same way they use the old plastic bag, like,
Which, let's be
yeah,
honest, how many people are reusing them?
right. Well, it's kind of an HEB bag is kind of a Texas girl's purse. So, I
Okay.
mean,
I love that.
it's your overnight bag. I mean, anytime you go to the pool, you have your HEB bag. But
Okay,
yeah,
so
but
they are being reused, but
I mean, I do. They're 10
right.
cents a bag, too. So
Mhm.
I actually just
Okay.
take them, I'll take them back in a stack and tell the cashier to just, here, use these, hand them out to people who want bags for free. So
And they do it?
they have, yeah.
They're sometimes hesitant.
They're like, okay. I'm like, I don't need them. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, that's so it's 10 cents for the thicker
Hmm.
ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that would be more of an incentive because ours are 5 cents like most places, but
Well, everything's bigger in Texas, honey.
bigger and thicker? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I can use at the pool. You definitely can't pick your dog poop up with it. Or you can, it's
Right.
just not great. Anyway, so
Right.
yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
it's not
sense.
gonna be
That's a concern that nobody thought about, is that, like, yeah, it's a reusable bag, but 30 times the carbon output making it.
right. It makes me wonder about I feel like the oil industries would love that.
Oh, they're just like, that's probably why, oh, I'm so cynical. That's why the governor let it pass,
Oh god.
because we're such an oil and gas heavy state. He was probably like,
Yes.
okay, yeah, you can make bigger bags.
So
That we will do.
interesting.
You can't outlaw plastic bags, but you can definitely make bigger reusable bags. That's fine.
Yeah. That would actually be interesting to look into that more.
Ugh, I don't want to know.
I know. But anywho's, this study looked at 4 things, I think. It's been a minute since I did this research. Yeah, 4 things. One is the global warming potential, which they call GWP.
Oh, cute. I like that. That's our new
Yeah.
acronym. Yeah. Okay.
They looked at the water consumption, they looked at non-renewable energy use, and they looked at consumer washing and reuse habits.
Okay.
And they looked at like typical habits. So not maybe somebody who's super conscious, but just like a normal human
Okay.
being.
Yeah. American.
Yeah.
A normal American. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they wanted to find the break even point for each of these items in terms of each of these factors.
Okay.
So, like, where's the break even point for global warming potential? Where is it for water consumption? Where is it for non renewable? All those things. And they found. So, first off, I have to also say, just to leave you on a cliffhanger, no, I have to also say, I have all of the above in
Okay.
my house.
Yeah.
So, this was a little upsetting for me to read.
Okay.
But
Oh, Lord. Okay.
so they found that silicone sandwich bags and beeswax wrap never reach a break even point.
Oh, wah, wah. That is sad. I have them. I don't have beeswax wrap, but I do have.
Okay. I got it.
Bummer.
I got beeswax wrap for this podcast.
Yeah. You're like,
I'm like,
shoot.
gosh dang it. I got it for everybody.
For you listeners, just for you.
So you don't have to.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I'm going to get into it a little bit more because it is more nuanced than that.
Yeah.
But the reason that it never reaches a break even point is because there's a much bigger impact from the water and energy needed
On the
for
front end.
manual washing.
Oh, so on the middle end, because I was going to say on the front end for creating it, but no, that makes sense because of consumer habits.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
all our fault.
But if you wash it every other time rather than every time you use it, you might hit break-even points.
Oh, interesting. Well, and I
So,
wonder. Okay,
well, I
sorry.
was gonna say, so for example, it could go from having to use it 10,000 times to using it 200 times.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Interesting. I wonder about using your dual basin method, which uses less water too.
I'm gonna get into that.
Oh, okay, good. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yes. No, you're good. Because that's the big thing they're looking at typical
Okay, where you just
habits.
leave the water running and you scrub it
Yes.
and you okay.
Mhm. And it's like super hot water, that type
Oh,
of
yeah.
thing. Another option is you can also just reuse your single-use items without washing them. So, like, I'm thinking
Yeah.
all the clamshell, packaging I figured out in the plastics episode, my local recycling center doesn't take, so, like, anything like the raspberries,
Yeah.
they come in the clamshell packaging. I have raspberries in my backyard, I could
Oh,
reuse
just
that
use that.
package.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I don't wash it, that's maybe even a better option than getting something
Okay. I mean,
that's
well, and like if it hasn't, like for me, if it hasn't had meat in it,
right.
like
Oh, yeah, I don't care if my
I mean,
raspberries.
and if you're just like making a peanut butter sandwich and putting it in a bag, like yeah, okay, just
Yeah,
make
you can
another
definitely
peanut butter sandwich. Yeah.
reuse. Right, you can definitely reuse Ziploc bags. My husband makes so much fun of me. He's like, "What is this? Why are you washing this out?" I'm like, "Why aren't you washing
I
them
know.
out?"
I yeah. Like my house, like me and my roommate both wash all of the baggies and like
I
reuse
love it.
them. Yeah. And so there's I think there's actually like a plastic bag drying rack you can get.
Oh, see, that's the thing. Mine are always, like, hanging from my
Yeah.
spatulas
Mine
and
are like over glasses that are drying and like
yeah,
yeah.
because 'cause they're very
Yeah.
annoying to
Yeah.
dry.
They are cuz you have to put them upside down and yeah, it's
Right, and one side dries, the other's wet, yeah.
ooh, I'll bet you I
Okay.
could make one out of old hangers.
Oh,
Anyway,
maybe.
okay.
There's
I'm
gotta be a
not
way.
I'm not that crafty,
This is
but
a business opportunity, folks.
yeah.
But
Upcycling.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so overall, they found that emissions for reusable products were highly sensitive to the changes in dishwashing emissions. So basically, your dishwashing habits.
Got it.
So if you missed our DIY dishwasher detergent episode, go back and listen
Yes.
because there's a two basin method. And as you mentioned, it's a sort of like a navy way of washing, like you might use it in the navy. You
Right.
use two basins, cold
Because it's
water,
yep,
one
low
for
water use or like camping, a camping method.
camping, yes. And we can link that in the show notes because it does sound like using a better form of washing your dishes, even if you're washing them by hand, would make it more sustainable. The other thing that's kinda interesting is that most of the stuff that I have is dishwasher safe.
Okay.
So that confuses me a little bit because it I would be running the dishwasher anyway, and it's not really making that big of an impact,
Huh.
you know? But
Yeah.
some actually I have 2 forms. The stasher bags are dishwasher safe according to their website. My mother-in-law gave me some that, they come in a pack of like 100. She's like,
Right.
"I don't need 50. Take some." But they're not dishwasher safe. And those are a big pain in my ass. We'll get into it. So I wanna talk about each of these products because they're all different, right? So let's start with straws.
Okay.
This study says that by year 1, glass okay, hold on. First off, this is kinda wild because it's saying the study bases their maths on using it 5 times a week for a year.
Okay.
5 times a week. That doesn't happen with a lot of this stuff. So, just letting you know, that's what they're saying, but they're saying for straws, by year 1, glass, metal, and silicone straws reach their payback period
Okay, wow.
with 5 uses per week all year.
Okay.
So if you're
So it's a
using it every
single
day.
straw. Okay. Well, and like maybe I
With the
don't.
straws, I think are that's possible, right? But
I mean, yeah. I like if I don't use straws very often. I only use straws when I have ice because I don't.
mhm.
I just drink out of a glass, or I drink out of a water bottle. So
Right.
a reusable water bottle, just to be clear.
Right.
But interesting.
um,
Okay.
but bamboo never got there.
Okay. Well, we all know screw bamboo.
I think it's the water, right?
Yeah,
It
it's
takes way
because
too much
using the
water.
water. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've talked about that. It might look sustainable, but it's not actually a sustainable material.
Yeah, which is interesting because in Vietnam they use bamboo for straws
Well,
at
if
like
it's
restaurants and stuff.
maybe if it's like
Yeah, if it's
processed bamboo,
well, yeah, if it's not coming from like a bamboo farm where they're I don't know.
or
It's hard to say.
oh yeah, or if they're not like because I think the issue with bamboo, I mean, it grows like a weed, but I think it's because when you process it to make it into something else, like if you're just using it, like you picked it off the side of the road and stuck it in a drink. But if
I
you're
think well, I don't think so because the straws they're not like they're just and maybe there's a different kind of bamboo straw, but they just
yeah,
take a piece of bamboo and cut out the middle
yeah,
and dry it out and that's your
that's what I'm
straw.
saying. That I think would be less water than if you took the bamboo and separated the fibers and made it into,
Oh,
clothing
yeah. I
or
assumed that all the bamboo straws
toothbrushes.
were like that, but maybe you're right.
Oh,
Actually,
well,
yeah.
I don't know. And maybe that's the issue.
Yeah, you're probably
Um,
right. I thought it was a lot of water to grow bamboo.
that's probably true too. I know it grows like a weed, but I think it's in the processing. I mean, I know for fibers, like for clothing, it
That's
is.
true. Yeah, it's hard to say, but either way, bamboo never reaches the
Yeah,
payback
screw bamboo. Okay.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let the pandas eat the bamboo.
right. But it's interesting because metal, glass, and silicone were all significantly higher for just one use. So if you buy it and use it once, you're really wasting your time.
Okay.
Like, don't do that. And metal's the worst because metal's pretty hard to
Yeah.
that takes a lot of resources to make. But then if you use them over time, which is the moral of the story, if you
Hmm.
use them a lot and reuse them, then you can actually make it worth your time. It just takes a full year though. Like you would never think that.
Wow. I mean, that actually, because I bought some metal straws just to have for like cocktail parties or like if I feel like having a soda in the afternoon with some
Yeah.
ice in it 5 years ago. And
Mhm.
I've had them and they're fine. And I put them in the dishwasher and they're fine. And my roommate uses them to drink smoothies and probably like I think they've earned their weight, back in I think a year would actually be that's surprising to me that it's that little.
Well, using it 5 days a week.
I think my roommate does. He goes
Okay.
through them. So, but yeah, interesting. It makes me want to go make a gin and tonic and put a straw in it right now.
Yeah, I think I'm surprised how long it is just because I think most people think right away,
Well,
just
that they're
buying
making.
it.
I mean, it's kind of like buying a Prius, right?
Right.
Like you're like, I'm making an impact. It's like, yeah, making that car was real bad, but
Yeah.
you feel better right away because you're like, well, I'm not contributing to greenhouse gases now, even though the creation of that item significantly contributed. But
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, that was
interesting.
the most interesting thing for me.
I do want to say
Yes.
one thing about metal straws, and this is something that my friend points out. It keeps the beverage cold as it gets into your mouth, just for the record. Like, because sometimes if you drink through a straw, it's like, okay, it was cold. And I mean, it's not very long for it to get, from a straw to your mouth. But in a
No, I
metal
could see
straw,
that. I
it
mean,
stays colder.
I have, like, metal water bottles, and they definitely keep
Yeah.
liquid colder.
Yeah. It just delivers the liquid cold. So if you want to like really make things slightly more refreshing. Anyway, that's a perk
Metal
of metal
straw it
straws.
up.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh yeah.
So I kinda wanted to look at each of these items and think through our typical greening up my act, mindset of,
Our
like, do they
lens. Yeah.
work? Are
Hmm.
they cost effective? Are they easy to use? So for straws, do they work? Yes. Although I will say my silicone straw throws me for a loop because there's some sort of physics behind it where I cannot put it in a slightly too small lid and suck anything out. Like, I don't know what it is. If it's something sciencey, and I'm just
Hashtag
like, what
science.
the F is going on? So I can't use, because it's like kind of thick, but anyway, they do work, mostly speaking. So
Okay.
are they cost effective? Well, if you think about it, not at all,
Oh,
because straws are usually cost effective, meaning are they cheaper than the but like straws are usually included without an upcharge. So you're paying a
right.
shitload more
Yeah.
for a straw, right? So I just bought 2 plastic ones because one of them melted in the dishwasher, but it's fine. From Starbucks, yes, I hate to say it, but I did it for $10.
Wow.
That ain't free. I mean,
No.
obviously straws aren't free, like regular plastic straws or whatever compostable bullshit they're using
Right.
these days.
That's fun. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they're free-ish. There's probably a slight upcharge, but so as far as price, no, not at all.
No. I mean, it's, yeah.
It's outlandish if you
Yeah.
think about it.
Straws are the Tesla of
Yes. Yeah, not everybody
reusable
can afford
items.
it or
Yeah.
has the interest in buying something that they can get for practically free.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
is it easy to use? Yes, I do put mine in the dishwasher. I don't know why that one melted. It hadn't happened before, and it hasn't happened again. So,
It
anyway,
was weak. It needed to be removed from the food chain.
survival of the fittest straws.
Yes. The dishwasher.
And it's easy to use ish, but I don't carry mine around. So, if
Yeah.
I'm out and a need for a straw comes up, I'm going to just use a random straw. Do you carry
Yeah.
yours?
No. I mean,
Right.
I've seen people have portable straw cases and things, and I'm like, my
Yes.
purse just isn't that big.
And
I
some of
mean, if
them
I,
are like collapsible, but
yeah, I don't go and get things that need straws very often either. So,
right.
because I am my own barista, I make my own coffee at
Yeah,
home.
we started doing that. It's so lovely.
Isn't it nice?
Yes, I love it so much. So that's the straw, sort of the overview of the straw,
Okay.
reusable straws. And I think the study mentioned paper straws because paper straws are such a thing
Oh
now.
my God. Are
But
they still? I feel like they're better than they used to be for sure. I definitely had a paper straw at a hotel over the weekend and was not like, this is terrible as it dissolved
right.
in my mouth.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Yeah, if you use it for more than 30 minutes, you're kind of risking some
yeah.
cardboard mouth, but so let's move on to reusable plastic wrap.
All right.
So I got beeswax wrap, which is basically just fabric. I could have made it on my own, and I think Nancy has something on her Instagram, but I just didn't have the energy or the time, so I bought some.
Okay. Why is it?
And
It's not beeswax though.
it is actually beeswax.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just take fabric and melt beeswax over it.
Oh,
Again, I think it's extremely easy, and I even have all of the things I would have needed. It just was a time crunch thing.
yeah.
But beeswax wrap did not break even for global warming potential
Okay. Why? Bees are
because
natural.
it's, it's because you have to wash it. So like you use it,
Oh
it's probably going to get dirty and you're going to have to hand wash it. There's no way you can put that in your
no,
dishwasher.
no, it would just gum up the works.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
No.
but let's look at it. So I
Okay.
bought this shit. Okay. Does it work? It does work, actually. It doesn't keep anything vacuum sealed, but neither does plastic wrap.
No,
That
unless
doesn't.
you're like trained in that. You have to
Yeah.
be like, oh my God. Yeah. I have a friend who works at a kitchen and he brings me chicken wings from time to time and he just saran wraps the shit out of that. It's
Yeah,
like,
he's got like the industrial size
yeah,
one. Those
yeah,
work way better though. So,
yeah. But it's like, do we really need this much? He's like, well, I didn't want the sauce to get all over my backpack. I'm like, all right, thanks.
right. Yeah.
Thanks for not bringing it to me in a plastic bag, I guess.
Yeah. So, this beeswax wrap, is it cost effective in terms of like, what's the price comparison basically? So, saran wrap I found for $5.85 on Amazon for 100 square feet.
Okay.
Beeswax wrap or bees wrap is the name of the brand that I bought was $14.99 for one small, one medium, and one large.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And how many times did you have to use it to make up? I mean,
You can't.
no.
You can't
I mean,
make
even
up
for
for it.
pricing, even for the price of it.
You probably can if you're really careful about how you wash it, but that's the only way.
And then when you're done, you can't recycle that because
Yeah.
it's clothing with
So
wax on it. It can't be recycled.
if you think about it, like, yeah, you definitely can't recycle it. Theoretically, you can make up the cost by your third box of Saran wrap, but that could like take decades. I don't know how long it
I
takes you to
know. Well,
use
especially
Saran
if
wrap,
you're
but
like you're using your reusable jars instead of freaking saran
yes,
wrap, you
if you're
know?
trying to avoid. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it easy to use? Yes. So it's easy to put on, but cleaning it seems like a true headache,
Yeah.
especially if it's got something gunky on it. Right now, it's covering an onion, and I can just feel it. I can feel the smell
Absorbing the
seeping
smell.
in.
That is
Yes,
now your onion wrap.
it
You
is.
can't
I
use it for
know. I'm like,
anything else.
damn it. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
Cleaning it in a responsible way seems like an even bigger headache. So,
Bummer.
yeah.
Okay.
Silicone bags also don't break even.
Okay.
So these are the stasher bags, which are supposed to replace Ziploc bags.
And I have some of these, and you cannot put them in the dishwasher.
You can. The
I
stasher bags.
Oh, okay. The version I have, I did, and my roommate was like, "Can't do that." And I was like, "Come on."
See, I wasn't sure, and I'm going to get into this, but well, I'll just say it now, but I wasn't sure because I did put it in the dishwasher, and once it was like parts of it flaked off.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked it up, but Stasher's website says you can. So
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if I trust it, but so that's the thing. Silicone bags, you can put them in the dishwasher if you can. So
Mm-hmm.
if you can, then I think you probably could break even,
Okay. Because
actually.
that's the washing issue. Yeah.
Right. But they didn't look at that. So that's really a guess. So do they work? Yes ish. I find mine to be a massive pain to open. Ziplocs, you just open it.
Yeah.
These are like,
Well,
God, it's like such a thick.
for me, like, yeah, it's hard to close them. Is my
Yes.
problem. Like, I don't feel like they seal.
Yes. So I don't love it. I don't use it that often because of that.
Yeah.
And
I let my roommate use it. I'm like, yeah, make a sandwich, have fun.
yeah, and it's kind of a pain to get stuff in and out, which is the case with all baggies. But when I was having all that dishwasher trouble, which my Dirty Labs dishwasher detergent is amazing still.
Yeah.
I still love it. But go back to our dishwasher
Yeah.
detergent episode if you're curious. But everything tasted like soap. And so I put my stasher bag in the dishwasher. Anything I put in it tasted like soap.
Ooh.
So now I don't even like them anymore because
Yeah.
I think it's going to make stuff taste like soap. So are they cost effective? Nope.
Duh. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Plastic baggies are
Not
so
at
cheap.
all. Yeah. So this is okay. This is kind of a wild difference. One stasher bag, the smallest size, is $9.21.
Oh my God.
And this is I found on Amazon. If you get 90 small Ziplocs, that's $4.29
Oh my
or
God.
5 cents per bag, which is 200 times more expensive.
Well, you can't raise a family on
I
that kind of.
know. That's insanity. So, is it easy to use? So, I have two types, like I said. One is dishwasher safe, the other one isn't. Basically, like I said before, it's okay to use. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's just not that pleasant.
Yeah.
One note from the study that I found really interesting, the best thing you can reuse that they looked at was a reusable fork.
Like silverware?
Yes.
Okay.
Instead of the plastic forks.
Yeah.
So even a metal fork broke even after 11 uses on all counts.
Okay.
And bamboo and plastic were even better.
Really?
Yeah.
Bamboo. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
A
Isn't that
bamboo.
crazy?
That's nuts. We have,
So
yeah.
it
Okay.
sounds like throwaway silverware is the worst.
So that's what we should have been done doing this whole. I mean, it's because everybody has silverware, though. I don't know anybody who just uses plasticware and throws it away. I'm
Well,
sure they
anytime you're
exist.
out,
Yeah.
anytime also, I go to like, if I get a salad, I love I do love Chick-fil-A salads. I know that makes me like a bad liberal, but
Stop. Bad. Yeah.
but they'll give me we have to ask them not to give us plastic
Yes.
utensils,
Yes.
and they
Mhm.
don't always remember or whatever, so you just have all this shit. But, if you're ever out, I mean, I use them when I'm out. I'm don't carry a fork around, so anytime I need to eat something when I'm not at home,
I
and I'm not at, like, a restaurant, then I'm
right.
gonna be using a plastic one. But, yeah, apparently, I should be carrying a metal fork, and the thing is you don't have to buy a new one, just grab one from your
From your
silverware
silverware drawer. I
drawer.
know you're not gonna miss it. Like, don't get it from your grandmother's silver place settings. But yeah,
Yes.
I actually today I was at a meeting at work and I went through my bag and I found the fork that I brought last week to work. I just have a fork in my bag.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I used to
Yeah,
have
but
one at work.
yes, I always had
Um
one in the office. I always had a fork and a knife and a
Mhm.
spoon and a
Yeah,
cup.
same.
Yeah, because you can do. It's like work is like camping.
Yes,
Like, yeah.
exactly.
And that, yeah, I can see that saving. I mean, that's like a no-brainer for me. I make sure that like if I get delivery that I
Yeah,
mark, please
delivery
don't
is a
bring
big
napkins and
one.
yeah, don't bring those. Used to have a stash of plastic forks in case like somebody came by and I needed to give them food and just send them on their way. Like
Right.
okay, here you go.
Mhm.
But yeah, you just have so much of those; they just build up.
Yeah, there are some restaurants in my area that are starting to ask ahead of time, but
That's
it's
smart.
definitely not
Well, it's
ubiquitous,
got to be
especially not with
savings for
fast
them.
food.
Yeah. Well, yeah, fast food doesn't care.
But they really should because it's, like, not cheap for them,
Right.
so
Well, and a lot of places I've been to have been using like compostable bamboo forks and stuff. So
okay, well
I do live in Austin. I know, right? Hippieville, but
yeah, compostable is debatable, but yeah.
yeah, as we know,
Yeah.
it's green hooey.
It's just
But
going to the landfill, but
yeah.
anyway.
But well,
Yeah,
okay.
so
So
that
forks,
was
duh.
yeah,
Okay.
so that was, like, uplifting for me. That was
Yeah.
a nice note to end on. So let's go to our granola rating. So
Okay.
TLDR, too long, didn't read. Granola rating, if anybody ever wants to skip ahead and just go to we put chapter markers in our episodes, so if you don't have time to listen to the whole thing, you can just skip ahead to this section, to the TLDR section.
I, for the record, put way more chapters in mine than you do.
It depends on the episode. Sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
go wild, but
Yeah. Yeah.
other times I'm just like, it's not worth it.
Four. Yeah. Yeah. They can figure it out. Yep.
Yeah. So we rate every product from 1 to 5 granolas. And the granolas, 1 granola is soggy, which is gross. And 5 granolas is break your tooth off. Like you can't even finish it with a full mouth of teeth because it's so
So
crunchy.
crunchy.
So for
Which is good
this,
for the record. That's good.
yes, you want it to be crunchy.
Yeah.
For these 3 products, I kind of lumped them all together. So reusable stuff in general. I had to give it a 2 out of 5. I
Okay.
really debated this
Yeah.
because it depends too much on individual usage and the material and the washing techniques. But I will say a reusable fork gets a crunchy.
Okay.
So all the other stuff I looked at too. So like maybe
Okay.
don't bother. Or bother, but make sure you're conscious about how much you think you're going to use it. Don't just go out to REI and be like, oh, sweet. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. I'm not trying to make fun of people. This is me. This is me.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Like metal camping cup I'll use once a year. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I want that. No, Tiffany, don't do that.
Yeah. Use what you already have. Yeah. Okay. Mhm.
Yes, exactly. A couple of suggestions going forward. Reduce and reuse first. Go figure.
Mhm.
There's a website I found called wehatetowaste.com.
Ooh.
And it's basically what they describe themselves as a global platform for sharing stories about living less wastefully. So it's this sort of like zero waste concept.
They sound like we should be friends with them.
Right. And it's definitely worth going to that website because they just have, lots of ideas and people are doing their own thing. And I find you kind of have to be comfortable looking a little weird a
Yeah.
lot of the time. Like if
Yeah.
you bring your own Tupperware to a restaurant, you're going to look a little weird, and
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah. It's fine.
And I say you, and I'm really talking to myself because I don't like looking weird.
I know. I love it. I'm a big fan.
I'm not surprised. You're being sarcastic.
I know. I actually do love.
Okay, see,
I
that's
like. I like the kind of challenge of like, what's wrong? Does it make you uncomfortable that I look this way? Because I'm
Oh
fine
my
with it.
god.
But
I love that. That just reminds me so much of Joe, and it's one of the reasons he like brings this out of me because I get embarrassed so easily, and he's the opposite, and he loves to embarrass me. So
Aw,
it's all good, mutually beneficial, I guess. Anyway,
yeah.
so the Vox article that I use is basically saying like, if getting a new eco-friendly product, this is a quote, eco-friendly product helps you support your lifestyle, then so be it. So like, let's not kill ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Let's not overanalyze because that one metal straw that you forgot to use again is not going to be the reason for the end of the earth.
Right. Yeah.
And they said that the goal of the original study, this is, I think, these are quotes from the authors of the study.
Okay.
They said the goal was not to determine if single use or reusable products were better or worse, and the study should not be used in this way.
Oh, so which we just did. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, it's true. But they said like reusable alternatives and single use products both have their strengths and weaknesses.
Fair.
And in any situation, environmental trade offs will have to be made. So that's kind of one thing I wanted to have a conversation, like a quick conversation about, because like if you care about like global warming, that's one thing. If you care about water usage, that's another thing. If you care about plastic pollution, that's another thing. So I find it really hard to figure out what to put on top because
Yeah.
sometimes they don't always go hand in hand.
I could see that.
Yeah, so there was like a whole Reddit thread criticizing people for buying a bunch of mason jars at Walmart because it's Walmart, but like that's truly not the point. Because not everyone has the time or energy or ability to create their own or thrift their own everything,
Right.
like me
And
with the bees wrap.
right. Well, and I think that that's one of the things we like to point out is that like we're not endless beings, and there's only so much we can
Hmm.
all do on an individual level, and trying it all is commendable, and being informed at all is commendable. But yeah,
Right.
we're not here to shame anyone.
Yeah. And I think it's saying like single use products both have their strengths and weaknesses, right? But
Yeah.
I do think the study was important to open our eyes to like
Right.
how we have to use them,
Yes.
or the ideal way that we could be using
Yeah.
them, I
Like,
guess.
and be aware that you might be better off just not buying them. I mean, like
Right.
if you have another method that works, like our reusable jars that we just talked about, those could be used for half of the things that I probably put stuff in baggies for.
Mhm.
I use that instead, and
Yeah.
or saran wrap. Use a jar.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the other thing is like take it slow. So this
Yeah.
Vox article also quoted Lauren Singer, who is the founder of the Package Free Shop in Brooklyn, and she has a really good outlook on all this stuff. So she says the way she did it was when she ran out of something, she thought about whether or not she would want to try a more sustainable option. So like if you're out of toothpaste, maybe you could try making your own if that sounds like fun, or you could research the different options out there of like more eco-friendly toothpaste, or same
Right.
with Windex, like maybe you
Yeah.
could try to reuse the bottle and make your own, or like me, if you notice how many plastic forks you're throwing away, maybe
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can make a little baggie and carry around a fork and a spoon from your drawer, or buy a reusable one or whatever.
Use your little silicone bag that
Yeah.
you hate.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not, so it's like not supposed to or be possible for any of this to happen overnight.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't just go out and buy all new metal straws today when you have a package that your kids are using, just
Right.
that you're just going to throw away. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I find it a little bit overwhelming.
It's a lot to think about.
It
I mean, and
is.
again, it's, oh yeah, it's sad. Like, this isn't the cure all. We're not going to, I don't know. They didn't talk about reducing the problem of straws in the ocean getting stuck in sea turtles' noses, which is the reason everybody quit using straws in the first place. But,
Right. But
um,
that's the thing. That's what I was saying. Like, there's plastic pollution on the one hand, and then there's global warming on the other.
well, yeah, and
And it's like
plastic
one
just sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like maybe using a plastic straw once in a while is better for global warming than going out and buying a metal one,
Yeah.
but it's not better for the turtles.
Right.
So it's like, damn it.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
You're
But
rocking a hard
again, like
place.
there
Yeah.
is a way to make it better if you are conscious about the way you reuse it. And straws especially you can put in your dishwasher. So
Yeah. Those straws, I mean, straws are, again, I've had mine for 4 or 5 years. So,
right.
and they're fine. Yeah. They're not wearing out and I'm not throwing them away.
Yeah, and in a way, it's like this is kind of overwhelming and depressing, but it's also kind of puts the control back in our hands because we can control how we wash these things.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's really the problem, which it sounds like it is, then we can impact that directly. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. That is cool.
Yeah,
Here's the education.
right. So yeah, I left this episode kind of open. I don't feel like I don't know anybody knows enough about this,
Yeah.
or
Well,
like
yeah.
most people don't know enough about it to use this stuff in an effective way, but that doesn't mean it's that nobody
Should do it. It's,
yeah, it doesn't mean people can't learn. So
yeah. And I mean, it's just a reminder that thoughtless consumerism is the enemy here.
right.
The biggest enemy that we have towards being eco-friendly is just consider why and how your purchases, why are you buying this, and the impact that it has. I think that's the important takeaway for me, is that,
Right.
like, just because you think you're going to reuse it and it's better, like, if you don't use straws, don't buy metal straws. Just don't.
Right. Yeah,
You don't
and
need
if
them.
you do buy a metal straw and you don't use it, like don't kill yourself.
Right. That too.
Don't
Oh,
beat yourself up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Give it to a friend when they come over. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretend it's brand new and regift it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Hey, do you need a straw? I mean, it's nice to have straws too, for cocktail parties and things.
Right. So yeah, so does that make sense to you? Because I just felt
Yeah.
like it was a little open, but
No, I think, but that's the trick. There's no fast answers to
right.
real thoughtfulness and to
Yes.
real, I mean, even to real eco-friendliness. It's nothing quick.
Yeah. Which
It's
is kind of
very
brutal.
nuanced. It is. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
And it's anti-modern American culture because we want things fast and we want things easy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's, sometimes it's just a long obedience in the same direction, and you do what you can when you learn
Right.
about it. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I think that was maybe one of our better episodes. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yay.
Mhm. It's a lot of nuance. I mean,
Yes. That's the thing.
I have felt so good about the fact that I have reusable straws and reusable plastic bags, and maybe I don't anymore. Maybe I don't feel like that, like, solved all the world's problems right there. Maybe that's okay.
And maybe that's okay.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the hard thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for listening.
Yeah. Thanks for all that research. That was really good.
Yeah.
Next week, I'm going to be talking about online consignment stores, specifically ThreadUp, which is the one I have experience with.
Me too.
But that means we're talking about fast fashion too. So yeah, gird your loins.
Gird your loins. I am really excited for this one.
With a dress you already have, I hope. Don't go out and buy new loin girdings, please.
Reuse your girding.
Reuse your girdings. That's the takeaway. I'm going to give you that teaser for next week.
I love it so much. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm very excited. So can't wait to hear it.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Tiff.
Thank you.
I'll see you in a bit.
Okay, bye.
Bye.